Hey guys, it's Rachel and I'm here to finally share my labor and delivery story. Super excited to share this with you all before it leaves my memory because honestly I'm still having that memory loss problem. But my labor was very intense. I did not like it at all whatsoever. In the title you can see I put near death experience because I did almost die, not a clickbait, not something to sound dramatic. Yeah, it was very serious. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get straight to the point. The video may be long and choppy just because the baby, will need my attention probably at some point in this video, and then EJ is here and sleeping, so hopefully my speaking doesn't get too loud because you guys know I'm a loud talker. But anyway, so let me just go ahead in with the video. Now, you guys know if you've been watching a lot of my vlogs, my pregnancy videos, that towards the end of my pregnancy, I became high risk. My entire pregnancy leading up to the end was great. And then out of nowhere, I had protein in my urine. Blood pressure was always high. It did fluctuate a lot, but for the most part, it was in the high range. And then also, I had a lot of swelling that didn't want to leave. And so my midwife was pretty dead set on the fact that I either had pre-induced hypertension building up or preeclampsia. So I kept going to the hospital to have these preeclampsia tests done, and I was always borderline. That was the results. And so the hospital didn't want me to be induced, or they didn't want me to have a C-section because they felt like I had to have either the pre-induced hypertension or the preeclampsia for them to willingly take the baby out like that. They do pride themselves on being like a natural hospital, which I definitely understand, because my whole pregnancy I really wanted a water birth, a water labor I should say, and so that's why I chose that specific hospital. I didn't think that I would end up being high risk. So anyways, I kept getting sent home. I didn't have the preeclampsia. It was starting to get really annoying just because my midwife knew that I would develop it. She knew it because the results were there. It was so close. 300 was the mark that indicates you have preeclampsia. I was like 275, and then it would build to like 280 and stuff like that, but it was just never there at the 300 mark. So she was like, you know what, Rachel, I know you want to have a natural labor. I know you want to do all these things. I honestly do not see it happening. I need you to take the preeclampsia test once more and have your urine checked at a different hospital that focuses on high risk pregnancies, because not to scare you, but your pressure is so high that if you were to even attempt to have the induction but like natural or anything like that, I do see seizures happening or a stroke on your body just because of everything that's occurring. And so that was a sign right there that, you know what, let me not play any games. Screw the natural thought at this point. I want to be safe. I want my child to be safe. Let me go to this new hospital, even though I was a little sad about it because I got attached to the nurses at the other hospital. But I'm like, who cares? Let me go there. My midwife told me most likely I would be admitted at the most 99.9%. She believes that I would get admitted and I would not be coming home because, like I said, they focus on high risk and they don't play games when it comes to inductions and C-sections. Like if you're borderline, they're going to recommend you to get that child out ASAP, Whereas the other hospital, they delay it, they prolong it because, again, their whole motto is the natural route. And also with the whole seizures and the going into shock thing, I did have a few dreams that I was gonna have a seizure early in my pregnancy, and I know this may sound really weird, but my dreams are always like they always have a purpose usually, like sometimes I feel like I may be a little bit psychic. So when she said that, I was like, oh my god, this is a sign. And the only person I knew that was EJ and my mom. But anyway, so ended up going to the hospital on Wednesday, and let me adjust the camera a little bit, sorry about that. Ended up going to the hospital on Wednesday. EJ and I were super excited. We were like, oh my gosh, we're going to have this baby. And this Wednesday, the date was July 13th. So I was super excited, because I really wanted to have this induction. I was ready for the baby to be here. And, I was just really just overjoyed. Go to the hospital, within an hour, I'm admitted. They're like, girl, I don't know how you were told you had borderline preeclampsia. Maybe it built up overnight because you're severe, honey. So when I heard that I had severe preeclampsia, I was like, severe? Because literally like a day and a half ago, I was borderline, like I kept getting sent home. So they told me that I would have an induction. And I think the reason why they initially wanted me to have the induction is because of me. I really, really wanted this natural labor. Like, I was pushing it, and my midwife, you know, she and I are really close, and she was like, Rachel, I'll deliver anything you want. And I told her I want this natural labor. So I think that's why they initially wanted me to have this induction, although in the back of their minds they knew I don't think it's the right decision. But there's different types of inductions that I had no idea about. But the one that I was going to have was where they insert something in your cervix to make it softer. The next morning, which would have been Thursday, I would have had my cervix checked to see if it would have been softer. And if it had been, I would have had the Pitocin, which sparks on contractions and labor, all that stuff. So that was the whole entire plan. Now, so yeah, that was the entire plan. I went to the hospital, and you know, when I was admitted, and immediately the process sucked. They couldn't find my vein on my hand, because remember, at this point they're thinking that I'm gonna have a natural labor, push him out, and so they didn't want to put the IV here where it could get in the way of me pushing. They wanted to put it in my hand, and they couldn't find a vein. They had to get 3 nurses, so that was a pain in the butt. To this day, this vein still hurts. I was hooked up to the blood pressure monitor to get checked. My blood pressure was still really, really high. And I did have my cervix checked by the doctor. He did come in, and he was like, Rachel, you're 1 centimeter, you're not 2, which I thought I was 2, but I was 1. And, you know, he was like, you know, I do know that you want to have a natural labor. Your midwife told me I don't see it happening. I think you need to have a C-section, because the way your blood pressure is looking, you can have a seizure. And he was like, you know, I'm going to give you some blood pressure medication to level it out. But he was like, I feel like your body can't handle the whole induction process, the contractions and all that stuff, because you're so severe with the preeclampsia. So I was a little like bummed about it, but you know, I'm like, okay. So he's like, you know, just answer me this question, you know, do you have a headache? And I was like, yeah. And that's what made him say, you're having a C-section. And EJ was like right next to me, and I'll never forget. EJ's like, oh, so is the C-section going to be scheduled for the morning? He's like, no, right now, 1 hour. And you guys, instantly I started shaking, like shaking. I was so scared. Like, I don't think I've ever been scared in my life. I'm good with needles. I'm good with so much stuff. But the thought of having surgery, and it was, I didn't even have time to process. I think if they would have told me like, oh, we're going to schedule the C-section for tomorrow, I would have been okay, because I could mentally prepare myself. But he was like 1 hour, you know? So, I was really, really scared. And, you know, I had EJ call my mom and everybody. I was shaking. I couldn't speak. I was stuttering. Nurses and everybody kept coming in the room. You know, they had to put the catheter in. They had to take the induction, whatever, cervix softener out. They had to talk to me about the epidural. And I mean, the whole time I was just like freaking the F out. I can't even tell you how bad, because it was like 2 seconds, literally. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have time to process. It was emergency C-section. Like, right now, this second, this moment, you're having it in an hour. So, I get the catheter put in. That was the next thing. And I'm going to be honest. As soon as it was in, I didn't want to have the baby anymore. Like, I swear. I was like, I don't want to do labor. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I don't like the feeling of it. I want to pull it out. I feel uncomfortable. Like, I don't like it. And, you know, the nurse kept telling me, calm down, honey, calm down. Once you get the epidural, you'll be fine. Once you get the epidural, you'll be fine. And I'm like, but that was the worst part, I would say. One of the worst parts. Oh, God, it was terrible. I hate it. And then, so the epidural lady came in. She explained everything. And I went to go get it done. My mom at this point was here. EJ was there. And I'm the type of person, I like to see myself getting, like, shots, needles, put in, all that stuff. Like, I have to see it. Okay? I don't know why I'm like that. I have to see it. The fact that I couldn't see her putting in the needle in my back stressed me out so bad that I kept flinching. And she was like, Rachel, please stop flinching. You know, they had to get a nurse to hold me down so I wouldn't move, but I couldn't help it, because I have to see what's being done to me, and I couldn't see what was being done to me. So yeah, it didn't hurt at all. It was just a little pinch, but just the thought of like not knowing it when it was gonna happen like pissed me off. I like to see stuff like that, so that was the only sucky thing. I kept flinching a little, but she was like, don't worry, you won't feel anything. Next thing you know, my whole body gets hot, like the bottom of my legs. It felt really good, I'm not gonna lie. And put me on a stretcher, and it was uncomfortable. I felt myself like leaving, like leaving, like mentally, like I didn't know what was really going on. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like at one point I felt like I was making sense, and then I was on my back the next thing, and I was just kind of out of it. Heard him cry, and I could not move. Like I couldn't feel any emotion. Like I knew in my mind he was here, but I didn't cry about it because I couldn't move or anything. I was so drugged up. I couldn't really talk. I mean, I spoke, like I tried to, I think, but I didn't speak. I just remember I felt like I had to spit, and I couldn't like swallow my throat. Or swallow. I said swallow my throat. I couldn't swallow. EJ did cry, which was really cute. He cried as soon as the baby came, or when he heard him cry. He didn't get to cut the umbilical cord because it was such an emergency. They had to do it really fast. Nothing was planned. And I did have the skin to skin on my face. I think EJ told them that I really wanted it, so they did it, but I was so out of it. I couldn't enjoy the labor of him like coming out because I was so drugged up that I couldn't feel myself like emotional, or like I was so out of it, you know what I mean? So that was horrible because I was so like just drugged up. I couldn't enjoy like the process of like bringing him in the world. It was just so quick. So yeah, after that I don't really remember too much after that, besides the fact that, you know, they monitored me for a little bit. My blood pressure was still a little high, so they like kept giving me pressure medication. And then later on that day, I went into the maternity and labor recovery, I think is what you call it. I don't know. And then that's when stuff got real. So I was there, and I just felt like I was peeing on myself. I was told prior to that because, you know, I kind of remember here and there what people were saying, but not really. Okay, he's still sleeping. I was told that I will be bleeding and stuff. You guys, I really don't remember because I was so drugged up, but I do remember them saying that I would experience some bleeding and stuff like that. So whatever, I was in the hospital bed, and I was like, I feel like I'm peeing on myself. That's what I said to my mom. And my mom didn't think anything of it. She's like, okay, whatever. But then I guess my mom was like, wait a minute. She feels like she's peeing on herself, and she has a catheter inside of her. And you know what I mean? She kind of put two and two together. So she notified the nurse like, hey, you know, my daughter said she feels like she's peeing on herself. And next thing you know, you guys, like, I swear, I don't even, at this point, it's kind of a blur. EJ, I wish he was in this video because he explained it to me so well, so I'm going to give him his perception. But next thing you know, she like gasps and stuff because she notices that I'm having a hemorrhage. And also, when I felt like I was peeing on myself, I also felt my vision leaving. Like, I was so drugged up that I was kind of like in and out of sleep. So it was kind of hard to like process anything. But I do remember my vision leaving, okay? Like going white is what I'm saying. Like I was seeing white. And that's pretty much that. So next thing you know, nurses were in and out, doctors swarm in, and to the point where they couldn't even tell my mom and EJ to leave the room because it was like that quick, that impulse. Like everybody, he was like, he felt like every doctor in that hospital was in that room that day. At this point, like I said, it's like a blur, but he said there was so much blood that was lost. Like he was like in the verge of breaking down. Like he thought that I was gonna die that moment because so much blood was lost, to the point where I actually had to get a blood transfusion. So the blood was lost. Like I said, I experienced a really, really bad hemorrhage. There was clots, like they said, like pools of blood. I don't know what happened. I didn't even question it because I kind of don't. A part of me doesn't really want to know because I don't want to be traumatized for my next child, which I'll get into that. But I don't really know what happened that caused the hemorrhage, but I did have one, and so the doctors had to come back in and, you know, do some stuff, I guess. And then after that, I ended up having what was it? I had to have a blood transfusion because I had like literally no blood anymore. So my mom was kind of like, oh, you know, I don't really want her to have one. I don't know why she said that, but I guess she was just nervous, and you know, I guess she was just scared, and she was saying that she told the nurse, you know, oh my God, like, is there a way she can't have, like, does she have to have one? And the nurse was like, no, she really has to have one. Like, you want her to live. Like, you know, she has to have one. So I got, I don't know how many pints of blood. I think 3, they said. 3, maybe close to 4. It was a lot of blood. And then after that, again, was a blur. The next day I was still drugged up, and that's when I actually made the announcement video saying he's here. And I was kind of aware of what I was saying, but not really. But overall, that was the whole process. Now afterwards, it's still kind of a nightmare. It just you guys, I don't know, I had to have staples put in. Nowadays a lot of people have like the glue or like the staples inside where they just dissolve, but because it was so quick and it wasn't planned, I had to have the staples. So today actually I do get it pulled out. And the healing of the C-section was no joke. I'm still healing. But when it first happened, it was so bad I couldn't walk. It was hard to do anything. And keep in mind, I'm trying to take care of a newborn. With all that being said, people always ask me, or everybody that came to visit keep asking me, do I still want to have 5 children? That was always my main goal, and I do want to have 5 children. However, I'm probably going to settle for one more if I even can build myself up to do it. Just because I'm traumatized, you know what I'm saying? They did say that I was close to losing my life, and that if my mom never told the nurse, hey, you know, she noticed that, you know, she feels like she's peeing on herself, because they thought everything was good when I went in there, yeah, I wouldn't have been here, just because so much blood was lost, and so they caught it just on time. Otherwise, they said, yeah, I was leaving. That's why my vision was pretty much halfway gone. Sorry if you hear Earl snoring. So yeah, I was really traumatized, and as of right now, how I'm feeling, because I will be uploading this today most likely, which is I'm losing track of my days, Tuesday, or tomorrow, Wednesday. But how I'm feeling right now, I feel good. But sometimes I get really, really bad pain. It's just hard when you're trying to raise a child or take care of a child, and you know, you can't really walk, you can't really bend. It comes on at certain moments, but it sucks, you guys. It sucks. The healing sucks is what I'm trying to say overall, and I don't like it. I don't like having this. I didn't like having the C-section. I didn't like not being able to experience, the labor and being so completely drugged up. You know, and then the blood was lost, and then the healing was a nightmare. So overall, this, for my first pregnancy, it was terrible, the labor and delivery. Now, I'm happy that I went through all that and brought him here. Would I do it all over again? Absolutely. But like I said, for the first one, I can't believe this happened. It was just crazy. But that was pretty much my story. I know this video is long. Let me see. Oh, 18 minutes. So not that bad. But yeah, that was everything, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I don't think I'm going to do the postpartum thing. I know people do like 1 week postpartum. I don't really want to. I don't like looking at my stomach. I have numb parts on it right now. So I guess I'll just give you a little aftermath of how my body's doing. My stomach lost all like its natural color. My stomach is super duper dark, and I don't know why the pigmentation changed like that. I have numb spots in my stomach. I can't feel it. Still have the staples. I'm getting it removed today. I have nerve damage on both sides, especially my left side. So sometimes out of nowhere it'll burn. It'll feel like my insides are literally like somebody is putting a match to my organs. So that sucks. still a little emotional. Like, I cry a lot looking at him. I get so excited that he's here. So like, I'll stare at him and just start crying like, oh, thank you God for bringing him to me. Or, you know, I'll look at EJ and say, oh my God, thank you for, you know. So I'm like still a little bit on the emotional side, but in a good way. I don't have postpartum or baby blues. I was excited the entire time of him being here, so that's really good. And I think that's pretty much it that I wanted to let you guys know. I'm on I want to say like 9 different medications. I'm on 2 high blood pressure medications because my blood pressure was still really high even afterwards, because my preeclampsia was so severe it didn't leave immediately after the baby. So right now I should be okay, I think. I don't know. I'm still taking the blood pressure medication, but that's something that I've been struggling with. I'm on iron because I lost so much blood and slightly anemic, I think they said. But I think the person's blood that I got wasn't anemic, because they said I was only slightly anemic before I was really anemic. So hopefully it could disappear. And then what else am I on? I have oxycodone for pain, but I don't take it. I take ibuprofen, 800 milligrams. I only took the oxycodone when I was in the hospital, but now that I'm home, I don't take it. I actually feel my energy coming back a little bit. I'm able to walk now, but I can't really bend. I still feel my epidural, where I got my epidural. It hurts really bad to like sit on it. It's just bad. I don't like it. But again, that was everything. 21 minutes long. Oh my God. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, I'll talk to y'all later, and expect a lot of vlogs coming. Bye everyone.